Hello everyone. In today's video we're going to talk about extension methods. So what are extension methods? Extension methods enable you to add methods to existing types without creating a new derived type or recompiling or otherwise modifying the original type. Extension methods are static methods, but they're called as if they were an instance methods on the extended type. So I'll give you an example here as to how you can actually work with extension methods. So I have my main here in my program, and let's say I have a string. I'll remove this string, date, string equals 2022 04 05. Now, how do I parse this into a date? Well, I can do the following here. Do date string split, put the little dash here in between, var split dt equals date split, and split dt 0, split dt 1, and split dt 2, and I can put int parse 0, int parse 1, and int parse 2. And here create var date equals new date time with all of that here. And once again, if I want to test if everything works fine here, console write line dt to string. A bit redundant, but you get the gist of it. So this is all fine and dandy here. I could have actually used the try parse function or parse function of the date. Let's say I have specific types of dates. Let's say no dashes, for instance. Or let's say special characters. Star. Star. Let's put stars here. Then I would put a split with the star. And afterwards, I'd have my date here, right line date. So let's try this. See what it gives us. And as you can see here, I have my date shown here. Let me increase the size. 4, 5, 222, 2022, 12 a.m. So this is all fine. What if I wanted something a bit more integrated with my string object? Well, what I can do is an extension method, which allows me to actually parse the string, but using an extension. So let's go here in my console app and add a new item. Let's add a class. Let's call it extensions. Actually, let's call it date extensions. Now I have a class date extensions here. Let's put it public just in case we want to use it outside our namespace. And let's create the extension method. So how do we do that? Well, very simple. It needs to be static. Public. Let's create a toDate. Let's specify this string date. Let's call it str. And also let's put a simple separator here, which is string separator. And put that here. Oh, we need a return function. So this is going to return a date, time, toDate. So what have I done here? Oh, this also needs to be static. Sorry about that. Class needs to be static. So what have I done here? Well, I've created a static class and a static extension called toDate. The most important thing you need to understand here is the this here. This means that strings will now have an extension method called toDate, which will have a parameter of a separator. So now let's just return null, for instance. Just let's return a new date, time, now, for just for sake of arguments. So if I go back into program and let me comment out this code here. And I could put var dt. Actually, let's put datetime. Date time dt equals dt string. And now I have a toDate extension method that takes into the parameter the separator. So I can put separator here. And then as you can see, I'm calling datetime toString. Now for this, if I execute this, it's going to return now. But let's go and modify this function and take this code here and just modify it a bit. So instead of returning now, I'm just going to remove the vars here. Let's call it str. Now the split is going to be the separator. And I'll create a new datetime. Actually, I don't need to assign it to dt. I'll just return. And I can also have here let's try this. Try catch exception ex. And if I have an exception here, let's say in my case I want to return datetime now, for instance, return, or just return Actually, let's put this nullable, return null. So this is going to return null. So I have my function here. Go back into program. Might have a small error here because datetime here. So here, put datetime as this. So let's try this. So I have my first value here. Let's assign a new value here, dt string. Or I can actually directly here, 2022. Let's put dash 02 dash 01, and here I can put the to date, specify the dash, console right line here, and this here I can put to string once again. So this is going to work. Put this, and let's put a invalid streak here. So let's copy this here, and instead of putting a slash, let's say a dash. Now this is not going to work. So let's see what this is going to give us. So if I execute this, you can see here, I bring my screen into the main screen, increase the size. So 2-1. My dates are inverted, so that's fine. And the last, you can see here I have an empty line because it puts null. I could have put title on the line also for you to see. But you can see here that I created my extension method, and I can do it this way. I can do it for many other things, very practical, and usually that's what major programs implement. They, instead of repeating code, we actually create extensions, and we reuse those extensions for specific tasks that are done on two types. So I hope this helped you out in understanding how extensions worked. And with that, happy programming.